Hi everybody, it's Katie here. As I said in my last video, I wanted to do a haul video for you guys again, just because they're kind of fun, probably a lot more fun than watching me move stuff and figure out how I'm gonna pack up my house. And plus I just needed to do something a little bit different. So I'm gonna do a haul video today, hopefully not go on too long, because I do want to, after this, follow up on my last haul video and talk about the things from that video that have already sold, because I think a number of them have already sold, so I can show you how much they sold for and how that went. Also in my last video I was talking about how I had sold something that I had already traded to somebody else, but I had forgotten to remove the listing, and so it got sold. It was like listed for a year, and of course as soon as I traded away, it's like 2 weeks later it sells. It sold for like 60 bucks plus 13 shipping, so it was a good sale. And then the crazy thing is that it the day after I traded it to my friend Cool Jacket Jim, I found the exact same jacket at Value Village. And so, and I'd seen it like several times since then, because I go probably a couple times a week. And so I tried, this was on Friday, today's Sunday, and so I thought, okay, I'm gonna go to Value Village and to see if I can get that jacket. I go there, of course it's not there. So then I text Jim and I'm like, hey, you know, I accidentally sold that jacket because I forgot to take the listing down. Would you be willing to trade it back to me for something else that I have that you want? Because he collects jackets, hence Cool Jacket Jim. So he likes to, you know, he'll look through my inventory, and if he sees something he likes, he'll usually trade me a couple things for it. So he's like, yeah, sure, no problem. And so we ended up meeting up yesterday. He brought me the jacket. There was something else of mine that he wanted that was a little bit higher price point. And so he actually traded me a few things for that. And the even crazier thing is that he said after he traded with me and got the jacket last time, he saw the same jacket at Goodwill like the next day. So it was just weird. But anyway, so here's the jacket. It's like a leather bomber jacket. It says Handyman Club of America Life Member. When I got it, I thought it was cool. It didn't sell forever. I think it was part of some sort of like membership thing. I don't know. It's kind of a ridiculous looking jacket, but apparently there's a lot of them out there. But anyway, so I got that back, and then, you know, he wanted this other jacket of mine that I had priced pretty high. It's like a vintage 40s buffalo plaid red hunting jacket. It's a really cool jacket, so he wanted that. So he brought me some other goodies. The first thing he gave me was this Wichita State University Shockers vintage. It's not a starter jacket. It's Pro Player, which is kind of like a lower brand than Starter, which is the most popular. But it's got the cool embroidery. I've never even heard of this team. Excuse me. Not that like I'm up on like all my college sports, but I do trade in, you know, I sell like streetwear stuff, especially vintage stuff. So, but I've never come across one of these. I don't think that it's probably not like a huge team, but that could go both ways. You know, it could be good because there might be less cool vintage stuff out there available, or it could be bad because nobody wants it. But I like this kind of stuff, so I think it's a really cool jacket. He also brought me this cool vintage, looks like it was made in Washington, wool leather Letterman's jacket, and I actually do pretty well with these. People like these kinds of jackets. This one's it's a little bit dingy on the arms. It's a white leather, but you know, I'll just disclose that in the listing and, you know, let them know. But I usually do pretty well with these, so you know, I might sell it for, well, it depends with the condition. I mean, I probably could still sell it for like at least 60 bucks. I mean, really, these vintage Letterman jackets do really well. In fact, I found one at the bins like last year sometime, and it was like probably from like the 40s or 50s. It's like one of those leather sweaters, and it had so many holes in it. It was just in terrible shape, but it was really cool. You could tell it was a pretty old jacket, and I sold it, I think, pretty quickly for like 80 bucks. Then he brought me the satin bomber jacket. It's vintage, and it says Wings World Tour 89. Now it's Wings with a Z, so anybody who is a fan of Paul McCartney and Wings knows that that should be an S if that was the band. So with a little research, what this actually is, Wings was, it was a spreadsheet software, like just before, it was like pre-Excel, so it was for Windows, and like apparently it came out in '89. So I don't know, I think this is kind of cool because it's probably not something that there's a lot of out there, and it's going to be a really specific audience that's going to be interested in this. So that, you know, this is probably something that I would, you know, if there's nothing else available out there like this, I would probably price it pretty high just to see what kind of interest there is. I don't know, I think that's kind of cool. And then the last thing that he gave me was this vintage kind of windbreaker jacket. And it's for some sort of, like, I don't know if it's like a racing event, but it's like a bicycle thing. It's got like a little flag of Texas on it, or sorry, the state of Texas on it. So it's some sort of ride that happens in Texas, but then like it's embroidered here. It's like Lewis McDonald, Alaska. So apparently this is Lewis McDonald's jacket. He's from Alaska, and he did this ride, or he raced, or something like that. Anyway, so that's everything I got. So it actually turned out really well. I had the whole debacle with the jacket because it turned into an opportunity to do some trading. I think I made out pretty well. And so it just goes to show you that building and maintaining like really good relationships with other people who are kind of in the same field as you or interested in the same kind of stuff is just a really good idea, because you a lot of times can have opportunities to trade and do stuff like that. Okay, so while I was at Value Village trying to find that jacket, I bought a bunch of stuff. And I'm not going to show you everything. There are a few things that, you know, just aren't really that noteworthy. But I did find a bunch of really cool stuff. And apparently this was the day of the Letterman's jacket, because I got another one. This one looks like it's black. Another wool and leather Letterman's jacket. Another vintage one. This one, I had another 30% off coupon, so this is priced at $14.99, so I paid 30% off of that. You can I mean, you probably won't be able to see it on the camera, but you can very faintly see that there were someone's name and a letter on here that were taken off. But, you know, like, again, these are pretty popular. Somebody might want to put their own thing on it. Otherwise, it's in really good shape. Then I got this very cool vintage wool kind of overcoat, men's overcoat. And the brand is Brent. And it's got this faux fur kind of Sherpa shearling lining, which is popular. It's a herringbone pattern, which you're probably, you know, I doubt you're gonna be able to see it on the camera. This lighting in here is really terrible. I'm sorry, guys. But it's a really cool pattern, and it's kind of like a black and almost like a maroon, the burgundy. It's like kind of a blend. It's a really cool overcoat jacket. It's really nice. I don't necessarily know. I'm not entirely sure like how much I can sell it for. It was $23.99. I paid 30% off of that. But I mean, I think I could definitely get anywhere from 60 to 80. But again, I haven't really looked into it too much, so it might even go for more than that. I don't know. Some of these old wool jackets like this can go for a lot. Then I have this jersey from Johns Hopkins. I think it might be a lacrosse jersey. I'm not entirely sure, but it's a nice sewn jersey. Rather than being like, you know, the iron-on kind of lettering. It was $11.99, paid 30% off of that. Yeah. I always pick stuff up like that, especially if it's sewn. Now these are, I had to look these up to figure out what they were. There's some sort of like state snowboarding competition thing that happens at Mount Hood Meadows here in Oregon. I have a couple of them. I don't think they're going to go for like a bunch of money, but I just thought they were kind of cool, and there were two of them, and so I went ahead and got them. They're both different. It's like kind of funny. It's like a basketball jersey, mesh basketball jersey. But somebody who's like really into snowboarding and maybe either has participated in that competition or just follows it will be into those. And I got a baseball jersey. Again, this one is a sewn one where the lettering and the numbers are sewn on as opposed to just being screened on. This one is the Jets. I'm assuming New York Jets. I don't know. I don't really know sports that well. And I haven't had a Jets jersey before. So I'm sure if you know better than I do that I'm probably being ridiculous right now. But this one I paid $6.99 for. Well, no, I paid 30% off of $6.99. So again, I'm not entirely sure what it is, but I would hope to get like 30 bucks for it. I don't know. And then I found this Tommy Hilfiger jeans t-shirt, vintage. It's embroidered. I don't know how much these ones go for, but I would think I would be able to get at least 25. But I'll have to look it up. But it was priced $3.49. Again, I paid 30% off. Let's see, and it has, just so you know, this is the, you know that's a vintage 90s tag if it looks like this, as opposed to being a much smaller, like when it has the big flag on it like that. The newer stuff has like a smaller flag. At some point I'll show you the difference, but that is definitely vintage. Okay, now this t-shirt I picked up. I don't know if you are, if you know anything about this type of art, but this is, it's either called, sometimes I see it called West Coast art, sometimes I see it called Northwest Coast art. It tends to be a lot in Canada, like the First Nations people, Native Americans, and so if you look it up, you can kind of see the style of art, and it's really popular. I always pick it up if I can. If I find something really cool, I'm not entirely sure. I think this might be like a frog or something. I'll have to research it because I was trying to make sure I know what I'm talking about when I list it. But like I just had one earlier this week. It was a white Nike t-shirt. It had, it was like a printed tag, so obviously it wasn't like vintage or anything like that, but it had the really cool Northwest Coast art raven on it. And I sold it within like a few hours of listing it, and I sold it for like 40 bucks. And I think it went to the UK or something like that. So, you know, that kind of, any like shirts or jackets, especially jackets that have like embroidery on them with the West Coast art type of stuff with the animals on it, those do really well, so do not pass them up. Okay, I got this cool, it's this isn't vintage, but it is like a retro Puma. It says Puma 1964 Puma track jacket, so I think it's pretty cool. I like it, like the style. It's a nice jacket. It was $5.49, so I paid 30% off of that, and I'll probably be able to sell it. I mean, I'll at least sell it for $25 to $30. And I do charge shipping on anything that's over a pound. I used to do free shipping on everything, but now I only do free shipping if it's 16 ounces or less, if I can do it first class. Otherwise, I charge shipping, and for me, for the type of stuff that I sell, that works out really well. I sell a lot of more like collectible type stuff, so it's like I'm not, I mean, I think it really depends on like what you sell, so I'm not going to make a blanket statement that like everybody should do that, because I don't necessarily think that's true, but I do think you need to like pay attention to how your sales are, maybe try experimenting around with, you know, doing free shipping or charging for shipping, and just see if it makes a difference. Alright, so now I got this Echo Unlimited varsity bomber jacket. It's all embroidered. This is new with tags. It's got a lot of embroidery on it. So this is a, you know, somewhat popular brand with some people. New with tags. It was priced 30 bucks, so I paid like around 20, a little over 20. Now, any other time of year, I don't know that I would pay that much for this jacket. But because we are in the fourth quarter and it's new with tags and it's like this nice embroidered kind of varsity style jacket, and it's a good size, I think it's an XL. You know, I'm willing to spend a little more because I think it's pretty likely I'll be able to at least triple my money. Like, I think I can probably sell it for like 60 bucks. So yeah, so it just really depends on like, you know, time of year and what kind of demand there's going to be for it. So then I got a couple of cool t-shirts. You know, I like the vintage t-shirts. This one is Save the Whales Whale Protection Fund. This kind of stuff, like a lot of animal stuff, I feel like for me does pretty well. This is vintage. You can tell it's vintage because it's single stitch. There's no tag in it. The tag was ripped out, but I don't know if you can see when you look at the hemline. I don't know if this is focusing or not. You can see it's a single stitch. Newer t-shirts actually have like a double stitch at the bottom. So a lot of times the single stitch is kind of a sure giveaway that you have a vintage t-shirt. And you can tell like just by the feel of this, like it just has that like old t-shirt, like super soft feel that I love. It's really comfortable to wear. And speaking of animal t-shirts, I got this ridiculous, this is not a vintage t-shirt, but it's new. And it's kind of a little bit of a tie-dye thing going on. But it's like this ridiculous, like, giant goat in the middle of it. I don't know. I think it's pretty goofy. I don't know. I think I pulled the tag off of this, but I would assume I didn't pay more than like $2 or $3 for it. I'll probably sell it for like 25. Ridiculous. Another Puma jacket. Puma track jacket. I like the coloring on it. Again, this one I paid 30% off of $10.99. So, I don't know. Probably sell it for like 25 to 30 bucks plus shipping. It's a nice jacket. And then I got this jacket, which is Prana. And Prana, I don't come across it a lot, but it's a really good, it's kind of an upper level, like sort of outdoorsy brand, a little bit nicer brand. And so it tends to sell for pretty well. I don't know specifically about this jacket. It's kind of a corduroy. I don't know if this particular jacket's going to sell for a lot, but it's a really good brand. It was priced at $14.99. I paid 30% off of that. And I was willing to take that chance because it's just a really cool jacket. It's got the faux Sherpa shirtling kind of lining, so I felt like that was a good bet. All right, now I got a Minnesota Twins jersey, sewn, made in the U.S., vintage, priced at $6.99, so I paid 30% off of that. I should be able to get at least 25, 30 bucks out of that. I'll have to look it up, maybe even more, I don't know. And I got a really nice soccer jersey. It's got some cool patches on it. I don't really know anything about this team. I'll have to look it up, but let's see, what team is it? I don't even know what team it is. Atletico Solea Football Club. I don't know, but I'll have to look it up. It's a nice jersey. You know, there's a lot of like really cheap soccer jerseys out there. I tend not to pick them up, but this one was in really nice condition. It was $6.99, so I got 30% off of that. So without looking it up at all, I would say I would at least be able to get 30 bucks for it, maybe more. Here is a satin bomber jacket. This has got USA embroidered on the chest there. It's vintage. I like this style. I think anything like this that's kind of like USA does really well. This is only priced at $4.49, so I got 30% off of that. Like, that's nothing. You know, it's a smaller size, so it might take a little bit longer to sell, but I mean, I should be able to get at least 30 bucks for this. This is, now I got the last couple of things are a couple of horsey things. Again, with the animal stuff, you know, people who are into horses, who like race horses, ride horses, or into any kind of like horse competition stuff, they're crazy about horses. So it's a good thing to pick up. This is a vintage, kind of cool jacket. It's some sort of like competition, Region 4 championships. And it says champion on the sleeve. So it's pretty cool style. I like the coloring on it. It's got the whole color block thing going on. So I think it's pretty rad. I'm hoping I can get like close to 40 for it. And then I have one more of these Letterman jackets, leather and wool. But this one has like another horse thing, French Hill. I don't know what that is. I'll have to look it up. But I think that's pretty cool. Somebody's gonna love it and want to buy it. And this one was $11.99, so I paid 30% off of that. And, you know, hopefully, I don't know, with this embroidery, I mean, I'd hope to get at least 60 bucks out of it. It's kind of a cool jacket. Anyway, so I gotta go now. I'm gonna take pictures of all of these so I can get started listing them. But when I come back on here, I'm gonna be going over what I sold from the last haul so I can show you how much money I actually made from that stuff, as opposed to like what I said I might be able to sell it for. And we'll see how it goes. All right. Okay, so I'm just going to review, you know, some of the stuff that I sold from the haul video that I did back in November. I think I uploaded it November 19th, and that was, you know, within a day or two of when I recorded that video. So roughly a little over a month ago. It is December 29th right now. So of the items that I showed in that haul video, I've sold 8 of them. So I'm going to go through them and just show you what they actually ended up selling for. So the first one that I shared with you guys, it was an LL Bean men's fleece jacket. This is one of the things I bought from Value Village. I had a 30% off coupon. So what I paid for it was $5.95. And I ended up selling it for $32 plus free shipping, because it was under a pound. I do anything that's under 16 ounces, I do free shipping on. Now it shows here $39.99. Some of you might have an app that you paid for. There's a couple of different ones out there that can show you automatically what an item actually sold for. If you don't have that, I'm going to show you a little trick really quick. So here it says it sold for $39.99. That is not how much it sold for. And so I'm going to show you, if you go up here, copy the item number. So go ahead and copy that. You can actually go to this website called watchcount.com. This is just it's a free way of checking what an item actually sold for. And here where it says keywords, you want to go ahead and paste in the item number and click on show me. And it's going to show you right here Let's see, price may be shown here on eBay. So let's click on history. And here it actually shows $32. I'll show you on another one because it doesn't always make you go through that step, but here it does show that it sold for 32. So anyway, so that was that first one. So it sold relatively quickly, and that's not a bad return on a $6 investment. The next one was this Everlast Sport men's varsity jacket, and this was one of the ones where I wasn't sure if I kind of overpaid for it. I paid, it was $23.99, 30% off, so I paid $16.80. Here it says it sold for $99.99. Again, I will show you by going ahead and highlighting that, copying that item number, going over to the watch count website. I'm going to put in that number and hit show me. And you'll see right here it shows 75. So I sold it for $75. And then I also did charge $12.95 shipping. So I got a total of $87.95 for this item, which again, I think that's a pretty good turnaround, and it sold relatively quickly, quicker than I was expecting it to. So that was a good purchase, even though I did pay up a little bit for that. The next one was this Nike ACG men's fleece jacket. It's a vintage from the 90s, kind of a popular brand, a really good size. It's a tall size XLT. This one I bought for $7.70, and this is the correct price that I sold it for. So I sold it for $49.99 plus $6.95 shipping. So again, pretty good turnaround. The next one was this Peterbilt GMC truck I had talked about in that video about how sometimes when you have like the embroidered company name on a jacket, it can devalue an item, but it just kind of depends on what it is. So it can be a little bit of a gamble to buy something like this. This one is Peterbilt GMC. It actually sold pretty quickly. I bought it for $5.60, and this is what I sold it for, $49.99 with $6.95 shipping. So again, that's a really good turnaround, going from, that's, got almost 10 times what I paid for it. And then the next one, this Dixie Black and Voodoo Lager men's t-shirt. Now I was really excited about getting this t-shirt. I thought it had a lot of good things about it that would make it desirable, being from New Orleans. Had some really cool graphics on it. It seemed to be in really good condition. Now, here's kind of a lesson in when you need to really examine an item before you buy it. It turned out it had a couple of tiny holes in the back. I don't know what they were from, because the shirt itself seemed like it was almost brand new, but it did have a few holes in the back, so I put that in the condition, the item condition. It says here I sold it for $27.49. That was just what it was on sale. What I actually sold it for was $17.50. I took an offer. I went ahead and, just wanted to get rid of it. I bought it for $3.99, so I sold it for $17.50 free shipping. I would not have purchased it had I seen the holes to begin with, but I didn't see them until I was taking pictures, so I went ahead and listed it. So at least I made a little bit on it, but again, I would not have purchased that otherwise. Okay, the next one. Now, when I bought this, I didn't know if it was Penn State. Obviously, I'm not very good with my schools or their colors necessarily. This actually turned out to be University of Pennsylvania. I think it would have sold for more had it been Penn State. I think that's a little bit more of a popular school. So this particular one, it says I sold for $49.99. The actual sale, I took an offer for $40 plus $6.95 shipping. I bought it for $12.99. So it was a decent turnaround. So I got $46.95 altogether for it. So it's not terrible. The next one, so this one, this Adidas Originals Peru track jacket. Now this one, it says here I sold it for $199.99. Again, that's not correct. Let's go ahead. I'll do this again one more time for you. You go to this watch count website, go back, put in that into the keywords, hit show me, and what I actually sold it for was $150, which I paid $12.95 for this jacket, or sorry, $12.99 for this jacket. Sold it for $150 plus $6.95 shipping. So that is a great turnaround. That was a great investment. I think, I knew it would probably sell for a lot. I don't know that I was expecting to sell for quite that much, but I like to really price things high. It didn't even have a chance to go on sale. I always have this stuff on sale before I got a best offer, and I took it right away because $150 I thought was a good price. So that was a great sale. And then the last one of the 8 items that I sold was this Arnold Palmer cardigan sweater. Again, these are always ones that you want to pick up if you see them. Cardigan sweaters in general do really well, but the Arnold Palmer one does exceptionally well. This particular one, I bought it for $4, sold it for $39.99 plus $6.95 shipping. It sold really quickly, so I think that was a pretty good investment. So that's it. That's the 8 items I sold from that haul. I think I did pretty well on that. And in about a month's time. So that's it. And hopefully I'll be coming to you with more updates on especially this haul that I just recorded for you earlier in this video. And I will see you guys later.